Buddy Holly said it just don't matter anymore, but obviously he hadn't seen Monday Matters, right here on Gary's Stuff. Hello there, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel, and welcome back if you've been here before. Now, if you have been here before, you'll notice the background is a bit more full of stuff than it normally is. That's because I've moved my workshop. My workshop, which used to be essentially just the front of my computer with a bit of paper dragged over the top of it, is now a nice little work area in our spare bedroom, which is no longer a bedroom. It's my production room, my studio, if you like. So yeah, this is where I'll be making my models in future, on this table here. I've got a hobby zone corner thing there to build in the week for my paints and everything, so it'll be nice and tidy there. And a nice shooting area for stills and for the turntable shots and things like that. Nice camera lights you can't see here, but yeah, big lighting rig there. Everything's all grand. So needs a bit more levelling off and work, but other than that, everything's fantastic. So as a result, there's not a lot of kit making been going on, but I will be telling you a bit more about the Spitfire. There's yeah, on my bench has been my bench this week, so it's not following the normal routine, let's say. So I will catch up on news of the week in a minute. On the bench, I won't bother with this week because, as I've been saying, this is what I've been doing. I've been making my bench. You know, I've got a little drawer for all the paints. You know how you kind of collect paints? No, who throws away paint? Yeah, don't you know what I mean? Well, I've got a drawer now just for all the bits of Humbrol and all those little Revel things that you get in Revel starter sets and bits of Tamiya in here and there. Most of my stuff is Vallejo, obviously, which is why it's up there. All my powders, and that sounds a bit suspicious, doesn't it? All my powders. Now, my weathering powders and my washes, oil washes and whatever. Textures, scenery, everything. All groans to have so much space at last. What I haven't done, of course, is put anywhere for models to go. Now, I know a lot of you have been asking about what I do with models once I make them. I make quite a lot of them. Well, most of them fill any basically flat space in the house, of course. But some of them are on a shelf or a set of shelves, and I thought I'd quickly film that and show you that. Have a look. This space used to be where we had racks of DVDs and CDs back in the old days, but the wall needed something, and so I needed somewhere to put all these things anyway. And so during lockdown I got some wood and built these shelves, and as you can see I haven't yet put on doors, but then I'm not happy with the wood. The quality of the wood during lockdown was abysmal. So there's a lot of planes here. I'll tell you the story of most of them in a moment. I'll just have a quick look through. A lot of them are planes my dad's squadron had, 800 Naval Air Squadron. At the top here, we've got the 48s. There's a Chipmunk, Vampire, a Spitfire 18, the Harrier GR9 I made recently, and of course the Hunter. Then a Meteor F8, OV-10 Bronco, and then aircraft from 402 and 404 Fleet Fighter flights, the things that preceded 800 Squadron. So first an F-86, just sitting there because it can, and then the aircraft of 800 Squadron, the Hawker Nimrods and Hawker Ospreys, which were the first planes that they had on the squadron. They had a couple of Mars Magisters. They even tried out two Gloucester Sea Gladiators. Never had the Mars Messenger. That's a bit of an interloper. Then just before the war, they went on to the Skewer. The wingfold is a scratch build wingfolding there. Very happy with. The Blackburn Rock, the Ferry Fulmer. The wingfold there is an aftermarket one. What have you got next? Oh yeah, Sea Hurricanes. I loved the Sea Hurricanes. 4 of those, 4 different marks that they flew, including an engine option one there. The Grumman Hellcat, 2 versions of that, and then another one with a wingfold aftermarket. The C5s, they started on the 15s and then went on to the 17s with the wing folds, the 47 with the wing folds. Oh, and I do need to repair that wheel. And then the Supermarine Attacker, again a scratch build wing fold end there. The Hawker Seahawk aftermarket wing folding. The Scimitar scratch built wing fold. Those are lovely extra kit ones, but they really need to be updated, Airfix, if you're listening. Buccaneer, the S1s, both of these are aftermarket conversions of the new S2 kits, and these are the S2s. Then onto the Sea Harriers, the FRS1s, the FA2, of course, which was a lovely aircraft, a very capable machine. Then the GR7, GR9s, the Trainer T12s, and the Last Flight GR9s. And then a few bits and pieces on the bottom that, again, I'm trying to find space for. I do love that Dutch Sea Fury. That's one of my favourite. And a Mary Rose. So there we are. That's everything 800 Naval Air Squadron ever flew, in every option, with and without wing folds. Scratch built where necessary. There we go then. Obviously that was a lockdown work in progress thing. Not 100% happy with it. I really should remake it and put some doors on it and stop the dust getting in and what. Maybe in the new year sometime I'll start doing that. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. Why don't we now have a look at the news of the week. Academy has released the box art of their forthcoming Mitsubishi Zero in 1/48 scale. It'll be interesting how well this stacks up against the recent Edward release. Also in 1/48 is this Mill Mi-17 hip from AMK. Now this will need some shelf space with a rotor span of 44 centimetres. Revell has been showing some built examples of their new 1/48 Hurricane. The detail looks okay, but I did expect more from 1/32 scale, especially in the cockpit, and the built example isn't of the highest model standard. But you will need to be on top of your game for this lovely Curtiss Seahawk in resin. You'll remember KP has a kit in 1/72, but this is 1/48 and it's a very limited edition. Yet again 1/48 scale, and this Percival Mew Gull is one of the most elegant planes ever flown and comes in a 3D printed kit from Decno. This definitely seems to be the future for low production run subjects. I've included this new Hasegawa Typhoon release simply because of the exuberant markings. It's a re-release of the 2012 tooling, which is actually pretty good, but those markings are an absolute delight to look at, but they must be the very devil to get right. Now, you'll remember at Telford Airfix announced the Meteor FR9 as their new club kit with an Ecuadorian option. Well, I'm going to get this decal set if I can and do the red and blue PR9 instead. Again, from Ecuador. I think it will look stunning with these decals from Aztec. Mironius is adding to their 1/72 diorama sets with this kitchen. Now, they claim 150 items, but I do wonder just how well potatoes can be modelled at this scale. For the contemporary 1/35 diorama, how about these decals of Banksy works for the walls? Very urban. To push your inner artist, you might like one of these fingers of a Mongol warrior from Fernando Ruiz Miniatures. Just check out all the metalwork you'll be doing. But for this week's look at the ultimate, what about this Lotus 72D Formula 1 car from Porsche in 1/8? Yes, 1/8 scale. Just over half a metre long, that's a lot of kit. But as you'll only be getting a tiny amount of change out of £790, it's a tad on the expensive side. But be fair, what a beauty it is. So, no fanfare needed, because you know the kit of the week is going to be the Spitfire I'm working on. I will be working on a few of the other starter sets that I got from the Aldi and Lidl offer, by the way. I've got a few I've never made before, so I'll be doing those as well as building the Spitfire. So hopefully a few more of those videos will pop up soon as well. As for the Spitfire, yes, it's an FR9, so I thought, well, all I've got to do is make a camera and make the window for the side, little mounting in the background, make a camera, happy days. Then I noticed things like the radio set is in the way, so I've got to do a little bit more work on shifting the radio forward so I can then make a little stand for the camera to sit on, so I can poke out the side window or look out the side window. I have the side window open as well, just so you can see all of that internal gubbins, otherwise what's the point of making it? I will say big shout out to Luke at Airfix for giving me lots of helpful hints and pointing me in directions, saying, hey, you might want to check out this site, they've got some great photos. And yeah, from what I can see, the 16 Squadron aircraft did this and then a whole list of things. So Luke, if you watch this, mate, thank you, really thank you. So I know you've got far too much work to be doing, I know, on things you're not allowed to tell us about for the next like 3 or 4 years or whatever, and wearing fancy hats, little Santa hats and fancy Christmas jumpers for the Airfix Christmas advent calendar. Very nice. But thanks for spending the time to do that, and it actually goes to show you the sort of kind of proper enthusiast that Airfix has working for them now, that he could take like 10 minutes out of his day to just say, well, this guy wants to do something slightly different with one of his kits. That sounds an interesting job, let's help him out. So thank you so much, Luke. I do appreciate it. So yeah, that's going to be the thing working on. Next is going to be that starting on the Spitfire next week, hopefully. I've got a few other things I have to be doing, building bits, but hopefully I'll be actually starting on the Spitfire, and I do need to be starting on the Fond Nat and the Zero, and possibly the Cutty Sark, and I don't know if there's anything else I need to be doing. I'll have a look. So there's 3 or 4 other starter sets I need to be doing as well. Those will be coming up during the course of the week, hopefully. I'll be putting up some more shorts with the top 10 tips, just trying them out really to see if they generate incoming views. They really don't generate much income, let me tell you, but they do get people to come to the site. More people that come to the site, the better it is, obviously, because, oh yeah, that's the other thing I failed to mention earlier. Of course, last week 8,000 subscribers. This week we passed the 1 million views on the channel in its lifetime. 1 million views. That to me is quite mad. Okay, it's astonishing to me that number of times my work has been looked at by people. So all of you who keep looking at my stuff, thank you so much for that. It's not like YouTube send me a present or anything and say, oh, 1 million views here, have some extra money or have some raise in this, or even a little plastic thing to put on the side. Would be nice for 1 million views, but no, you get one of those for 100,000 subscribers, so a bit of a way to go for that. But nonetheless, it's really gratifying that you know, so many of you actually take the time to watch the rubbish I make. So thank you so much. I'm glad you do like it. That's all ready for this week. Come back in the week for more bits and pieces as they get released. I guess the first Spitfire video is probably going to be at least a week away before I finish, say, the cockpit area alone. It's going to take time. But there's going to be more content popping up. And have a great week. Come back for Monday Matters again next week, of course. And enjoy the pre-Christmas madness, won't you? Do take care. Do have fun. Happy modelling. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.